The galaxy was old, wide, and silent. For thousands of cycles, fear had slowly vanished from it. Alien empires ruled the stars with calm minds and perfect machines. Wars were planned, clean, and quick. Loss was measured, controlled, and forgotten. Among these empires lived the Kelri, a tall and ancient species who believed they had mastered survival. They trusted shields stronger than planets and fleets that could burn suns. To them, death was rare and suffering was a mistake to be erased. They believed pain had no purpose. One Kelri observer watched the stars from a high orbital ring above his home world. Below him stretched oceans of silver cities and glowing skies. The planet had never known true invasion. Its people believed nothing could reach them. Then the warning came. At first, it was small. A distortion near the outer system. Sensors struggled to explain it. The data showed a force with no clear shape, no known energy mark. The Council dismissed it as a drifting anomaly. Hours later, the stars began to bend. Space itself twisted like a wounded thing. Entire defense stations vanished without explosion or sound. The Kelri fleets launched, calm and confident. They had faced threats before. The unknown force did not fight them. It passed through ships as if they were mist. Metal folded inward, crews vanished, and signals cut off mid-breath. There was no honor, no pattern, no chance to adapt. Panic spread for the first time in recorded history. The observer watched his world burn. Not from fire, but from collapse. The planet's core cracked under impossible pressure. Cities fell into the sky as gravity failed. Millions died without even understanding why. The Kelri believed betrayal must be the cause. They blamed rival empires, broken treaties, secret weapons. Their leaders argued while the stars screamed. By the time the truth arrived, it was too late. The truth was simple. The universe did not care how advanced they were. It did not care how long they had ruled. It only cared that they were fragile. As the world broke apart, escape vessels fled in all directions. The observer boarded one, his body shaking with something new. Fear. A feeling his species had erased long ago. His ship drifted through wreckage and frozen bodies. Behind him, his home vanished into dust. Ahead of him lay empty space and unanswered questions. Weeks passed. Food ran low. Hope thinned. Signals from other survivors faded one by one. During his flight, he studied old records. Ancient data of minor species ignored by the great powers. Among them was a small entry marked unimportant. A violent, emotional race from a distant spiral arm. Humans. The files described them as weak, divided, and short-lived. Their technology was crude. Their reach small. They were never invited into galactic councils. They were never feared. The observer dismissed them at first. They were nothing compared to what destroyed his world. Just another fragile species waiting to fade. Then his ship's sensors detected something impossible. A vessel with no active signals. No escort. No visible weapons. It drifted in total silence near a dead star. Its design did not match any known empire. Its hull was scarred, old, and dark. It looked less like a ship and more like a survivor. The observer felt fear tighten again. Not from power, but from presence. The vessel slowly turned toward him. And for the first time since his world died, the galaxy felt like it was watching back. The alien survivor drifted in silence as the unknown ship moved closer. Its shape was rough and uneven, nothing like the smooth designs of the great empires. Scars covered its hull like old wounds that never healed. This was not a vessel built for beauty or pride. It looked like something that had survived too much and refused to die. The survivor checked his failing sensors again. They showed no active weapons, no shield flare, no clear energy flow. By all known logic, the ship should have been dead. Yet it moved with purpose, slow but steady. Like a predator that did not need to rush. Fear returned stronger than before. Not sharp panic, but deep and heavy dread. The kind that settles into the mind and refuses to leave. His species had forgotten this feeling. Now it ruled him. As his ship floated powerless, old memories surfaced. Stories taught to Kelri children about safety and order. About how the galaxy had been shaped to remove chaos. Pain was seen as failure. Emotion as weakness. They believed survival meant control. They believed strength meant distance from suffering. That belief had cost them everything. The survivor reviewed more lost records, searching for meaning. Data from destroyed archives filled his screen. Broken images of species erased from history. Wars ended before they began. Civilizations erased without struggle. Then he returned to the small forgotten file again. The one marked unimportant. Humans. He studied it longer this time. Humans had fought endless internal wars. Their worlds burned more than once. They faced hunger, plagues, and extinction events. Yet they always rebuilt. The records showed something strange. Human progress often came after disaster. Their greatest advances were born from loss. Pain did not stop them. It shaped them. The survivor felt confusion. Why had such a broken species survived so long? Why had they not destroyed themselves? Every model said they should have failed. The silent ship outside pulsed with faint internal light. Not bright, not proud. Just steady. Like a heartbeat. The survivor realized something unsettling. This ship was not hiding. It was waiting. His own vessel was dying. Power cells dropped to their last reserves. Life support flickered. Cold crept through the walls. He was running out of time. The unknown ship finally transmitted data. Not words, not language. Just raw information. Star maps filled with ruined systems. Coordinates marked by loss and extinction. The survivor understood then. This ship had been everywhere pain existed. It followed destruction. It learned from it. A warning signal echoed through his vessel. A massive energy surge built inside the silent ship. Not outward like a weapon, but inward, as if it were preparing itself. The survivor felt small. Smaller than when his world died. Because now he sensed intention. This was not a refugee. Not a traitor. Not a lost machine. This was something shaped by suffering. Something born in fire and failure. Something the galaxy had ignored for too long. As the silent ship aligned with his course, the survivor saw a faded symbol etched into its hull. Simple lines, rough and human. A mark of identity, not empire. His sensors translated the origin at last. The vessel came from human space. And as darkness closed in around his failing ship, the survivor realized the galaxy had made a terrible mistake. It had laughed at pain. It had erased fear. And now something forged by both was watching it return. Part 3, when the galaxy chose violence. The human ship did not attack. It stayed close, matching the survivor's broken course. Its silence felt heavier than any threat. As if it waited for the galaxy to make the first mistake. That mistake came quickly. Long-range beacons activated across the sector. Surviving alien fleets answered the call. Warships arrived in perfect formation, calm and certain. To them, the unknown vessel was a problem to erase. Not something to fear. The records named humans again. Primitive, emotional, unstable. A species that burned its own worlds. A species that could not be trusted with power. The decision was easy. Destroy the ship. Restore order. Energy weapons charged. Space lit up with controlled fire. The first strike hit the human vessel directly. Its hull shattered in places, metal tearing open to vacuum. Any normal ship would have died. The survivor watched in disbelief. The human ship did not retreat. It did not raise shields. It did not respond. Instead, it absorbed the damage. Internal systems rerouted instantly. Power levels climbed instead of falling. The more it was hurt, the more active it became. Alien commanders hesitated. This was not logical. Damage was supposed to weaken. Pain was supposed to end resistance. They fired again. Harder this time. The second strike ripped through the ship's core. Explosions tore open decks filled with unknown machinery. Radiation flooded space. Still, the ship stayed on course. Inside the survivor's failing vessel, alarms screamed. Gravity shifted. Time reading stuttered. Something was changing around the human ship. Sensors showed strange results. The vessel was adapting. Armor thickened where it was hit. Energy patterns reshaped themselves. Technology evolved in real time. The survivor felt cold fear spread through him. This was not advanced design. This was response. This was survival written into metal. The alien fleet's increased firepower. They believed overwhelming force would solve everything. That belief had ruled the galaxy for ages. Then space itself began to break. A deep vibration passed through every ship. Not sound, but pressure. Gravity bent inward toward the human vessel. Alien ships lost control, pulled from formation. One by one, warships collided. Not from enemy fire. But from panic and failure? The human ship finally reacted outward. A pulse spread across the battlefield, slow and heavy. It did not destroy. It disabled. Weapons shut down. Navigation collapsed. Artificial minds went silent. The survivor understood the horror of it. The human ship was not fighting fleets. It was fighting systems. Rules. Certainty. The galaxy had chosen violence. And humans had answered with adaptation. As alien commanders struggled to regain control, the human vessel turned fully toward the largest fleet. Its scarred hull glowing faintly from within. Like embers beneath ash. For the first time, a message spread across open channels. Not words. Not threats. Just a simple data signal. Survival logs. Records of destroyed human worlds. Names of billions who had died and been remembered. The survivor felt something break inside him. These humans had suffered more than any species allowed. And they had not forgotten. The pulse grew stronger. The human ship prepared something final. Something shaped by loss and refusal. As alien fleets drifted helpless and silent, the survivor realized the truth too late. The galaxy had not erased fear. It had only delayed it. And now fear was learning how to fight. The battlefield fell into a strange quiet. Alien fleets drifted without control, broken but not destroyed. For a galaxy built on perfect order, this chaos was unbearable. The survivor watched as data flooded his displays. Every system around the human ship was failing in the same way. Weapons shut down, shields collapsed, guidance lost meaning. It was not random damage. It was targeted understanding. The human vessel was not stronger in the way the galaxy measured strength. It was not faster, cleaner, or more elegant. It was something worse. It learned. The survivor studied the incoming data stream more closely. The survival logs were not just records. They were memories. Entire histories of loss, encoded into systems and reactions. Human worlds burned in these records. Cities drowned, skies poisoned, suns darkened. Each disaster marked not as failure, but as change. The survivor felt a deep confusion. Other species erased pain from their past. Humans kept it close. They carried it forward. More alien ships attempted to reboot their systems. Emergency crews worked in panic. Command structures collapsed as leaders realized control was gone. They had never trained for this kind of enemy. The human ship moved slowly through the drifting armadas. Not hunting. Not rushing. Just enduring. As it passed damaged vessels, sensors detected intense internal activity. Human technology was rewriting itself again and again. Each nearby failure fed new solutions. Each act of violence made it more prepared. The survivor understood then. Pain was not a weakness to humans. It was data. It was fuel. Inside the human ship, countless human minds were linked. Not living bodies, but preserved consciousness shaped by loss. Survivors of fallen colonies, soldiers who never went home. Civilians who refused to be erased. All bound together by memory and purpose. They did not scream. They did not beg. They endured. The alien coalition tried one last act of control. They activated a sector-wide purge command. A protocol designed to erase all hostile matter. It had ended wars before they could begin. The command reached the human ship. And failed. Instead of collapsing, the vessel changed again. It absorbed the command logic. Learned from it. Turned it inward. The survivor felt terror sharpen into certainty. This ship had been designed for one truth. That humans would always be attacked. Always underestimated. The purge command echoed back through the network. Alien control systems shut down permanently. Entire fleets went dark at once. Not destroyed, but rendered helpless. Fear spread faster than any signal. Across empires, across borders. The galaxy began to understand what it had done. Humans did not fear death. They had lived with it too long. They feared only being forgotten. The human ship slowed near the center of the battlefield. Its internal light dimmed, then stabilized. As if it had finished learning. The survivor's vessel was pulled closer by unseen forces. Drawn toward the human ship's shadow. He felt small, exposed, and seen. A final data burst reached every surviving alien ship. Not a threat. Not a demand. Just a pattern. A pattern showing endless cycles. Aliens laughing. Humans suffering. Humans adapting. The transmission cut abruptly. The human ship began charging something new. Something deeper than weapons or shields. As space bent inward once more, the survivor realized this battle was not the end. It was a lesson. And the galaxy was about to learn what humans did to those who forced them to endure. The charge reached its peak. Space around the human ship folded inward like a held breath. Light bent, time slowed, and distance lost meaning. Alien fleets could not move. They could not flee. They could not fight. For the first time, the galaxy felt truly trapped. The survivor sensed the shift before sensors confirmed it. This was not a weapon meant to destroy worlds. It was something deeper. A change to the rules everyone else obeyed. The human vessel released the pulse. Not fast. Not loud. But absolute. Across the sector, reality rewrote itself. Advanced alien systems failed all at once. Technologies perfected over millions of years turned useless. Energy no longer flowed as expected. Control no longer existed. Entire armadas went silent. Drifting shells of once great power. Crews alive but helpless. Leaders unable to command. The survivor felt it clearly now. Humans did not win by being stronger. They won by refusing to stop. Data streams poured through open space. Human survival patterns embedded themselves into the fabric of the battlefield. Every adaptation born from hunger, war, extinction. Every refusal to surrender encoded into force. The human ship moved forward, passing through the broken fleets. Not attacking. Not finishing them. This was not conquest. This was proof. The galaxy had always believed victory meant destruction. Humans believed victory meant endurance. As the ship reached the center of the system, a final transmission spread across all frequencies. Not just to the fleets, but to nearby empires, councils, and watching worlds. It showed human history. Worlds lost. Families erased. Civilizations burned again and again. And yet, it also showed rebuilding. Hands reaching through ruin. Ships launched from ash. The message carried no threat. Only certainty. Humans had been pushed. Humans had suffered. And humans were still standing. The survivor felt something change inside him. Fear remained. But now it was mixed with understanding. The galaxy had mistaken silence for weakness. Emotion for failure. Pain for an ending. The human ship began to power down its internal surge. Not because it was finished, but because it had nothing left to prove. Around it, alien fleets slowly regained limited function. Enough to survive. Enough to remember. None dared to fire again. None even aimed. The survivor's ship stabilized at last. Pulled into a controlled orbit near the human vessel. Not as a prisoner, but as a witness. He understood the truth fully now. Humans did not seek to rule the galaxy. They only demanded one thing: to never be ignored again. As the battlefield quieted and the stars returned to their natural paths, news spread faster than fear ever had. The age of calm dominance was over. From this moment on, every species would measure its actions carefully. Every fleet would hesitate before attacking. Because somewhere in the dark, human ships were watching. Learning. Enduring. The human vessel turned away from the shattered armadas. Its mission complete. Its message delivered. And as it disappeared into deep space, The survivor realized the galaxy had crossed a line that could never be undone. Humanity had not conquered the stars. But it had claimed something far more powerful. The right to never surrender. The battle ended without victory songs or burning worlds. Silence returned, but it was not the same silence as before. This one carried memory. Across the galaxy, news spread through broken networks and fearful reports. Alien councils gathered in emergency chambers. Old laws were questioned. Ancient beliefs collapsed. For the first time in ages, the galaxy admitted a truth. It had been wrong. The survivor was taken aboard a recovery station days later. Medical systems repaired his body. But nothing could repair what he had seen. His world was still gone. His people still dust among the stars. Yet something new lived inside him now. Understanding. Records of the human ship were shared across empires. Analyzed, debated, feared. No one could fully explain how it worked. Only why. Humans had not built their strength in peace. They built it in ruins. They did not remove pain from their past. They carried it forward. Other species began changing. War doctrines shifted from pride to caution. First strike plans were abandoned. Borders once enforced by force were now guarded by hesitation. Where human space was marked on star maps. Traffic slowed. Weapons powered down. Messages were sent instead of threats. The survivor learned that humans had not followed the battle with expansion. They did not chase fleeing fleets. They did not demand territory. They returned to the dark. That frightened the galaxy more than conquest ever could. Because humans did not need to be everywhere. They only needed to exist. The survivor studied more human history during his recovery. Not the myths. The truth. He saw children growing up on broken worlds. People rebuilding cities by hand. Generations living with loss and still choosing to continue. Humans did not believe survival was guaranteed. They believed it was earned. Years passed. The galaxy adapted, slowly and painfully. Fear returned, not as chaos, but as awareness. Empires that once laughed at weakness now feared pushing too far. They learned that some species did not break when crushed. They hardened. The survivor was asked to speak before a council one final time. He did not speak of weapons. He spoke of pain. He told them the galaxy had made a mistake long ago. It tried to erase suffering instead of learning from it. Humans had done the opposite. They suffered. They adapted. They endured. The silent human ship was never seen again. Some believed it still watched from beyond known space. Others believed there were many like it. Waiting. No one dared to test the truth. The survivor often looked into the stars now. No longer with confidence, but with respect. He understood the final lesson clearly. The galaxy had never been afraid because it had never met humanity. Now it had. And fear had returned. Not because humans sought it, but because they had earned it. From that age forward, one rule spread across the stars. Passed quietly from empire to empire. Written into strategy and memory. Never corner humans. Never ignore their pain. Never assume they will surrender. Because humanity does not fear the dark. They were born in it. And when the universe pushed them to the edge, they did not fall. They endured.